Hello everyone, this is Subhashree Panigrahy and I'm your host on the Canary for this week. I'm a high school senior pursuing my higher studies in Lagos, Nigeria. Let's begin by giving a countdown of the articles that have been published this week at the Teen Pop magazine. We have an article titled Culture Shock, where Hannah Finson gives a real life account of how she was a victim of racism. We also have tips on what to wear on dates by Adrukya Dorcas, a countdown of 2 facts about each period 3 elements by Riddhi Bhattacharya, and the importance of computer science in our lives by Rana Muhammad. Astriel also enlightens us about the recklessness of today's society, while Vinith Ajit talks about the essence of bucket lists and what it means to be an egalitarian. We also have a lot of feminist-based articles than usual, with Abhirami's If She Had Stopped for a Minute More, Trisha's They're Suffering in Silence, Raghavashree's account of Nangeli, and we have our article of the week, Pink Collar by Muskan Sharma. I am now going to invite Muskan Sharma to this talk show and ask her a few questions. Hi Muskan, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing very fine. How are you?
I'm good too, thank you. So, could you please begin by explaining to us, in your words for our listeners, what pink collar workers mean?
Okay, so while I was writing this article, I searched a lot and then I came across this term, pink collar workers, and actually this is a category of workers who are employed in care-oriented career fields, as in we know, such as nursing or primary teachers or some social work. Such jobs are basically termed as pink collar jobs, and mostly we know they're female dominated field of work.
Okay, so are there only females? Because do you think it is gender stereotyping to associate a care field with the color pink and hence calling them pink collar workers?
Well, we all know that since childhood we have been hearing that pink is for girls and blue is for boys, so that color bias has always been there. But if we look deeper, then we can also see that rather than seeing it in a negative light, we can see pink, the color pink, as the color of power. Let me tell you a fact I came across, that pink was actually a color made for men. So it because it represents a strength, and it represents that activism. So in that light, if we see, it is a positive take. And
yes.
Yeah.
So do you think it is really necessary to eliminate this discrepancy, or it's perfectly okay to be calling the workers pink collar workers or something like that?
We already have different tags for other jobs as well, like we have blue collar workers and we have white collar workers. So yeah, we can say that it is normal to call them pink collar workers, but yeah, there is a certain stereotype that if it is pink, then it would be feminine, and it would be these works will be taking lesser dedication or lesser status, less respect they get. So in that way, stereotypes come in between, and that is not good. Otherwise, color does not matter according to me.
Yes, I completely agree. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us. We are much obliged. Moving on, we have a fun little trivia round for you. Are you ready?
Okay, sure.
The first question: what is the official name of Texas?
Okay, I guess I'm gonna no. Yeah, I have no idea about this one. First question, I'm already down.
Yeah, this one, I don't think everybody will be knowing this. It's called the Lone Star State, by the way.
Oh, okay. I will be keeping in mind.
The next question, after I'm done reading the question, I'll count till 5 and you'll have to answer me within 5 seconds. Will that do?
Okay.
It's pretty easy. You will get it.
Yeah, sure.
If you had only one match and entered a dark room containing an oil lamp, some kindling wood, and a newspaper. Which one would you light first? 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, the matchstick.
Absolutely correct. See, I told you that's pretty easy.
Am I right?
Yes, totally. It's correct.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you think it is legal for a man to marry his widow's sister? Sorry, his wife.
Widow's sister. How is that possible? The man would be dead, right?
This is the trick in the question. Many people don't hear it properly. This is the trick. You're absolutely correct.
Yeah.
A man can marry. He's dead. Okay, moving on to the next question. A man dressed in all black is walking down a country lane. Suddenly, a large black car with no lights on comes around the corner and comes to a halt. How did the car's driver know he was there?
I'm gonna make a guess. It was some crossing or some traffic light or something. I'm really bad at guesses, by the way.
But yes, it was actually broad daylight, so you don't really need any car light or anything to see the man.
Okay.
Last question, another funny one, and I hope you'll get this. What has a thumb and 4 fingers but isn't really alive?
This one I've heard, yeah. Is it a glove? Glove?
Yes, it is a glove. See, I told you, it's pretty easy. You will get it.
Cool.
You got almost everything, mostly. One mistake, it's completely fine. Thank you so much for joining us today, Muskan. It was really fun talking to you. We hope we get to talk to you more often.
Thank you so much for having me.
And thank you for all the great work you do.
Yeah, and I
would you like to share
thank
something
you so much,
with
and
our
I hope
listeners?
people like that.
Thank you so much. You want to share something with our listeners?
Well, I would say that this topic is really it's like hidden in the plain sight. So people should really come up and read more about this pink collar works and how we can change the mindset of society by taking a small step in this direction.
Yes, totally. Thank you so much, Muskan. Now, in case you haven't already, go check out our new theme song by Neetik. It's even playing in the background right now, by the way. As you are checking out the theme song, check out the interviews with Neetik, leading Bollywood choreographer Sneha Desai and NGO founder Khushi Popli from Project Pragati at theteenpop.com. Finally, if you wish to be part of the Teen Pop magazine and join us as a writer, interviewer, designer or NGO who wishes to be part of the Grow with Teen Pop campaign, then check out our website at theteenpop.com. And that's a wrap. Thank you for joining me. Stay tuned for the next episode of The Canary, hosted by other fellow writers, and I'll see you again in a month. Here's Subhashree Panigrahy signing off.
Thank you so much, Subhashree. Hi guys, I am Madeleine Monkman, a high school senior living in the United States. I write articles that bring awareness to civil rights, climate change, free healthcare, and immigration. And today I'm going to be your second host on The Canary, and I'm going to take you across the recent updates in the United States election 2020. When I originally was going to record this, Joe Biden had not yet won the president-elect position. But this morning, Pennsylvania was called around 8:30 Pacific Standard Time, and Joe Biden was declared the winner. Millions of Americans and myself have been waiting for this moment, and it's finally here. So it's really beautiful to see so many people celebrating on the streets of Boston, San Francisco, Washington, D.C., New York, Chicago, just showing true signs of patriotism that we haven't seen in the past 4 years. Van Jones breaking down in tears on CNN put it best, telling the truth matters and being a good person matters. It's going to be easier for a lot of people. This is a vindication for a lot of people who have really suffered. So over the past 4 years or so, the country has really become extremely divided, and this election has torn apart friendships and families. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris will be needing to promote unity across the country and reach out to the uneducated population that we see voting for Trump. So I guess I'll really start here by giving some background on the past week. While Trump started off the election with leads in battleground states such as Georgia, Wisconsin, and Michigan, and most importantly, Pennsylvania, these states slowly flipped blue for former Vice President Joe Biden. This slow gain can be attributed to the increase of mail-in ballots due to COVID. Iconically, Georgia flipped blue for the first time since 1992, and this can be attributed to the high percentages and voter turnout thanks to Stacey Abrams, who has become one of the biggest voting rights advocates in the United States. She helped register 800,000 voters in Georgia, many of whom, were the ones that flipped the state. So Georgia had also the potential to flip the majority in the Senate in favor of the Democrats with 2 runoff elections for senator. The candidates are Reverend Warnock and John Ossoff. So these elections will be held on January 5th, 2021. The Senate is crucial for Biden now. In order to continue to hold progressive support, he will need to pass progressive acts through Congress. If the Senate majority is Republican, he will be stopped by Majority Leader Mitch McConnell from passing these acts. So the need for Georgia to stay blue is going to be more urgent than ever. Georgia will also most likely hold a recount for the presidential election due to the extremely thin margins of Biden only holding the lead by 0.1%. But the leader that goes into the recount often comes out the leader. So we really won't see too much of a change there. To say, 2020 has been a historical year would definitely be an understatement. From the mishandling of a global pandemic to a high-stakes election with one of the highest voter turnouts, the United States of America certainly has had its fair share of monumental moments. So the voter turnout was incredible, and Joe Biden's win can be attributed to the immigrant organizers in Arizona and black grassroots campaigns across the country. Today is not only a historical for the removal of Donald Trump, but this election has increased minority representation in government. We have Kamala Harris, the first African American vice president, Asian American vice president, and female vice president. So we also have the first out transgender state senator in America, Sarah McBride, along with Mondaire Jones, one of the first out gay black men in Congress. But, despite all these positives, there is still some negatives. So Trump and his supporters have been trying to promote conspiracies of voter fraud, going so far to claim that news equipment vans were really smuggling in fake ballots. The reality of the situation is that Democratic Biden supporters were more likely to vote via mail due to the pandemic, while Trump supporters believe COVID was a hoax and were instructed by the president to vote in person. So the Trump campaign has filed major lawsuits in Pennsylvania, to quote ABC News, alleging that its poll watchers were not being allowed to properly observe the vote count. But a judge, obviously denied this request because there was no evidence to back the president's claim of voter fraud. This has caused outrage across the United States, due mainly to the fact that the president is attempting to interfere with a democratic process that has been in place since the 1700s. The Supreme Court getting involved seems highly unlikely despite Trump's claims on Twitter. Chief Justice Roberts, would not want to hurt the court's reputation by associating it with, this kind of case. Trump's campaign has also filed lawsuits on similar grounds in Michigan, Georgia, Arizona, and Nevada. You may take notice that these are battleground states, which is, not ironic at all, including the 2 crucial states of Arizona and Nevada. But Joe Biden will obviously be inheriting the presidency along with an extremely divided nation. And the 2020 election has shown the United States and the world how deep-set white supremacy and misogyny lie in the way of the American people, 70 million, roughly to be exact. And despite Joe Biden leading the popular vote, the election, sadly, was extremely close. So it's been brought to light for, many ignorant people that roughly half of Americans would still vote for Trump, even after experiencing the dysfunction of his administration. Trump has stated many times that he would refuse a peaceful transition of power, making Joe Biden's job extremely difficult. Trump supporters have already broken out in protests across the country, attempting to break into ballot offices and even coming to protest armed with AK-47s. And Joe Biden spoke Friday night, and his speech was a crucial part in the Biden transition plan. It symbolized the end of a campaign, end of division, and is trying to go about, repairing what Donald Trump has broken in the United States. So the Democratic Party will really need to evaluate its priorities now that the election has been won. They need to focus on better communication with the uneducated white population and really help teach them about democratic policies that really benefit them, but, they're being lied to by the president and being told that, the Democrats are not helping them. So they really need to be, kind of re-educated in that sense. And a good portion of the Democratic section in Congress, are honestly pretty hypocritical. They seem to only, talk the talk rather than walk the walk. And they want to blame progressives for party division. However, in my opinion, these performative activists are the reason for the anger directed towards Democratic Congress members. Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez tweeted, "One thing I'll say, for the last 2 years, I and progressive candidates have been unseating powerful Democratic incumbents supported by the DCC. See, not once has anyone in the party asked me what weakness I've found in their operation. If they stop blaming progressives, we can help." And I really do agree with what she's saying here. So many of the incumbent Democrats that she's referring to have sat around attempting to cling on to their seats of power instead of actively campaigning and speaking one-on-one with the American people and hearing their concerns. So, the next step for Biden-Harris transition team would be to figure out a plan to cater to progressives and extreme conservatives in this country, which of course will be extremely hard, but I believe that his cabinet nominations will be really crucial in this and the next thing to look out for. So that's all for today. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will catch you guys next week.